In a world where relationships form the bedrock of our lives, trust and forgiveness are the cornerstones that hold everything together. These two powerful forces have the ability to mend broken bonds, heal emotional wounds, and pave the way for deeper, more meaningful connections. Whether it's a fractured friendship, a strained family tie, or even healing the relationship you have with yourself, understanding and accepting trust and forgiveness can open a path towards greater peace of mind and a more fulfilling life. In this video, we're stripping away the complexity and offering you a straightforward, practical guide to rebuilding trust and finding forgiveness. We'll share simple steps you can take right now to start mending broken bonds and paving the way for a more harmonious future. Let's start with trust. Think of it as the currency of relationship. Without it, interactions become hollow and superficial. Trust allows us to be vulnerable, to share our hopes, fears, and dreams without the fear of judgment or ridiculing. It's the safety net that encourages us to take risks, to step outside our comfort zones, knowing that we have a support system to catch us if we fall. And science backs this up. Studies have shown that high levels of trust in relationships are linked to lower stress, improved mental health, and even better physical health outcomes. When we trust, we feel secure, loved, and valued, and that translates to a happier, more fulfilling life. But trust, like any precious commodity, can be fragile. It takes time and effort to build, and even the smallest crack can threaten its stability. That's where forgiveness comes in. Forgiveness isn't about condoning hurtful behavior. It's about releasing the burden of anger and resentment that weighs us down. It's about acknowledging the pain we've experienced, but choosing not to let it control our lives. Where forgiveness is an act of self-compassion. It allows us to move forward, to create space for healing and growth. And when we forgive others, we free ourselves from the shackles of the past, opening the door to stronger, more authentic connections. We'll look into the practical tools and techniques you can use to cultivate trust and foster forgiveness in your relationships. The first tool is active listening. It's about truly hearing what the other person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak. It's about paying attention to their words, their tone of voice, and their body language. When we listen actively, we show the other person that we value their thoughts and feelings, and that builds trust. The next tool is honesty. Being truthful and transparent, even when it's difficult, is essential for building trust. And of course, honesty doesn't mean being brutally blunt. It means communicating in a way that is both respectful and truthful. When we are honest with others, we demonstrate that we trust them with the truth, and that strengthens the bond between us. Consistency is another key tool. When our words and actions align, we become predictable and reliable, and that breeds trust. It's about showing up when we say we will, following through on our commitments, and being someone others can count on. Healthy boundaries are essential for building trust. It's about knowing our limits and communicating them clearly to others. When we respect our own needs and the needs of others, we create a safe space where trust can flourish. Now let's talk about forgiveness. It's a word that carries a lot of weight, and it's often misunderstood. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing hurtful behavior. It's not about weakness or letting someone off the hook. Forgiveness is about acknowledging the pain you've experienced, but choosing not to let it control you. It's about releasing the anger and resentment that can poison your heart and soul. It's about giving yourself permission to heal and move forward. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It's a decision to let go of the past and accept the possibility of a brighter future. And while it may not be easy, it is always possible. Starting on the path of forgiveness is a personal journey, and there's no one-size-fits-all approach. However, there are steps you can take to guide you through the process. The first step is acknowledging the hurt. Allow yourself to feel the pain, the anger, the sadness. Write it down, talk about it with a trusted friend or therapist, or express it through art or music. The key is to recognize and validate your emotions rather than suppressing them. The next step is choosing to forgive. This doesn't mean condoning the hurtful behavior or pretending it didn't happen. It means making a conscious decision to release the other person from your anger and resentment. It's about recognizing that holding on to those negative emotions only hurts you in the long run. The third step is letting go of resentment. This is often the most challenging part of the process. It involves shifting your focus from the past to the present, from what was done to you to what you can do for yourself. It's about choosing to see the other person with compassion and understanding, even if their actions were hurtful. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation. Sometimes the healthiest decision is to create distance from the person who hurt you. However, even in these situations, forgiveness can still bring you peace and freedom. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What if the other person doesn't want to reconcile? Or what if they continue to hurt you? In these cases, forgiveness becomes even more crucial for your own well-being. It's about setting yourself free from the cycle of pain and resentment and reclaiming your power. Remember, forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about you. It's about choosing peace over pain, freedom over resentment, and hope over despair. And while the journey may be challenging, the rewards are immeasurable. Just as a garden needs constant tending to thrive, so do our relationships. Trust and forgiveness are not one-time events, but ongoing practices that require nurturing and attention. Maintaining healthy relationships involves consistent communication, empathy, and compromise. It's about regularly checking in with each other, sharing your thoughts and feelings openly, and actively listening to your partner's perspective. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes and understand their feelings, even if you don't agree with their actions. When we practice empathy, we create a deeper connection with others and build a foundation for trust and forgiveness. Compromise is the art of finding middle ground. It's about recognizing that not everyone will always see things the same way, and that's okay. When we are willing to compromise, we show our partners that their needs and feelings are important to us. Trust and forgiveness are not about perfection. We all make mistakes, and that's part of being human. What matters is how we learn from those mistakes and how we choose to move forward. When we prioritize trust and forgiveness in our relationships, we create a safe space where we can grow, learn, and love more deeply. Now, you might have some questions. Let's address some of the most common ones. The concepts of trust and forgiveness are simple, but putting them into practice can be challenging. It requires a willingness to be vulnerable, to let go of the past, and to accept the unknown. However, with the right tools and support, it is definitely possible to cultivate trust and forgiveness in your relationships. Every relationship is unique, and some situations are undoubtedly more complex than others. If you're dealing with a particularly difficult situation, it's important to seek professional help. A therapist or counselor can provide you with the guidance and support you need to navigate the complexities of trust and forgiveness. Before we move on, let's quickly recap what we've covered so far. We've talked about the importance of trust and forgiveness in our lives. We've explored the tools you can use to build trust, like active listening, honesty, consistency, and healthy boundaries. And we've delved into the process of forgiveness, from acknowledging the hurt to letting go of resentment. Now let's talk about what happens when things don't go according to plan. What if you've tried to rebuild trust, but it feels like you're hitting a wall? What if the hurt is so deep that forgiveness seems impossible? First, remember that healing takes time. Trust and forgiveness are not quick fixes, but processes that require patience and perseverance. Don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Keep practicing the tools we've discussed and be kind to yourself along the way. Second, don't be afraid to seek help. If you're struggling to navigate the complexities of trust and forgiveness, talking to a therapist or counselor can be incredibly beneficial. They can offer you a safe space to process your emotions, develop coping strategies, and learn new skills for building healthy relationships. third, lean on your support system. Surround yourself with people who love and care about you. Talk to them about what you're going through and allow them to offer you comfort and encouragement. Remember, you don't have to go through this alone. Remember that forgiveness is an act of self-love. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of anger and resentment and choosing peace and healing instead. It's about recognizing your own worth and refusing to let the actions of others define you. Building trust and forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns, but by choosing to walk this path, you are choosing a life of deeper connection, greater peace, and more fulfilling relationships. Like, remember, you have the power to create positive change in your relationships. By accepting trust and forgiveness, you open yourself up to a world of deeper connection, greater peace, and more fulfilling experiences. So take that first step, reach out to someone you trust, offer a heartfelt apology, or simply forgive yourself for past mistakes. The journey may not always be easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. As you move forward, remember that trust and forgiveness are not just about healing old wounds. They are about creating a brighter future for yourself and your relationships. They are about choosing love over fear, hope over despair, and connection over isolation. Thank you for joining us on this journey of trust and forgiveness. May your path be filled with love, light, and endless possibilities.